Welcome to this series of tutorials on Charsep. Charsep is a tool for editing, processing, profiling character-separated values files, also known as CSV. Video tutorials can provide a quick overview of features, however online help and material can help you get deep into advanced capabilities of Charsep. Playing with the tool is a good option to get proficient too.
You can get information and download the tool from jackapps.org. If you have Java installed on your computer, there is no need for anything else. You can download the executable file for Windows, or the jar package file if you prefer, or if you are using Mac or Linux. Please put the app in a directory that is writable, since the first execution will create a properties file to store configuration. Charsep is virus-free but not signed, so your antivirus may raise a warning since you downloaded it from the web. Open the application. The Open File dialog will show. You can either load from a file or from the clipboard. We will select to load from a file. Then select the separator and code page of encoding. Most files today are encoded in UTF-8, or if not, Windows 1252 in my region. If you know if your file has a headers row, tick this box. We will keep all other options by default for the time being. Click Open. File opens in a grid. You can select and unselect rows in the grid. Control-click allows to extend selection. Shift-click allows to extend to all rows between last selected one and the clicked one. Above this grid, a menu and a toolbar provide many functions. Below the grid, the logger box shows activities of the application, and a status bar shows how many rows and columns are in the grid, how many are selected, the source file of the grid, and the software version. Clicking on it shows release notes from the website. Click headers to change sort order by this column. Shift-click allows to sort in descending order. You can go back to normal file order using the first column. This first column actually does not come from the file. You can see that selected rows are kept selected when resorting. We will not explore the full toolbar, but you can select different headers for the grid headers names, or letters in Excel style, columns numbers, or mixed. By the way, if you did load a file that you thought had no headers, there is an easy way to use the first loaded row as the header. On the opposite, you can of course use the header as first row of values. Let's explore the first function available, grid information, which gives you a high-level view of the file. For each column, you can see a set of characteristics, number of non-empty values, number of distinct values, average, minimum, and maximum number of characters. This is a very convenient way to get a quick recapitulative. You will see that if all values are not empty for a column, it will show in blue. Same thing if all the values of a column are distinct. By double-clicking one of the rows, or use Get Selected Columns Profile, you can then see more details on the column from initial grid. On top of this dialog, you will get a recapitulative of the column content. Below you will see the full list of distinct values of this column, and below you will see the different format masks used by this column, and how many occurrences use the same format mask. By selecting a value, Charsep will select the related format mask, or by selecting one of the format masks, Charsep will select the values that are matching it. You can of course select more than one value, or more than one mask. Let's go back to the grid information dialog, and this time, let's select more than one row. Amount basket and average basket, for instance. By looking at these two columns profiles, you will see that they have many format masks in common. You will also immediately see the values that are common to both columns. The ones that are showing more than once, and the ones that are only specific to one column. You can edit the values of the grid either by double-clicking any cell or by inserting a new row or deleting selected rows. You can also duplicate selected rows, then update them. Even if this is convenient, most of the time you will not use this manual addition capability, but more automated batch processes. We will see this in other tutorials. In the File menu, you will see a simple way to get a second grid based on the rows you selected. This will allow you to handle any processing on a subset of the rows of the initial file. A merge function allows to consolidate two files. Many possibilities of merge are possible. We will look here for the most simple one. Adding the second file based on a lookup value. Here we have the same customer column that you can find in both first and second file. We will simply add the columns without duplicating the customer name. For all the customers present in first file. As a basic function, you will of course need to save your file. You can override the initial file or create a copy. You can also save the content of the grid in your clipboard. Like in the Open dialog, you have different options to change encoding, change the value separator, or save only a subset of the rows from the file you processed. We just saw here the very basic load and save features of the tool. Other tutorials will show powerful search, profiling, file structure transformations. I hope you will make Charsep one of your preferred tools.